How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have some pretty interesting numbers coming out from the Fed, or at least from economists trying to figure out what the Fed's going to do next. We have some interesting events happening this week. We have companies continuously stacking Bitcoin and some interesting charts on Bitcoin. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, let me know what you're drinking down below in the comment section. Today I have just a little bit of coffee and then also some water, but I want to hear what you're drinking. I think it's kind of fun, looking at what people are drinking across the world. Also, there's a link underneath the video to Margex where you can start trading cryptocurrency. This setup looks unbelievable, right? Like, if you had told me 2 years ago, what is your ideal setup for Bitcoin's price to go up? Massive companies, massive money managers buying Bitcoin, pushing it to their clients. We're at close to new all-time highs. Liquidity is starting to move up. Rates are starting to come down. What else could you want? We got rid of some of the people that were holding paper handing Bitcoin already, and now we're moving up. So let me know just let me know if you're buying right now, I guess. And then if you want to trade cryptocurrency, there is the link underneath the video to Margex where you can start longing the market. This is the time to set your positions before the next leg up, in my opinion. As you can see, we went all the way up to about 64,000 last night, which I've said is a pretty key level. You can see some resistance right here from it, some resistance here. And then if we go back here, 64,000 right on the dot, I guess this was 63.8. We got rejected a buy back here. So yeah, we want to obviously move up to the next bit of resistance around 65,000, then 66.4. I would not be surprised if there's some decent buying from the ETFs this week if we move up. If we move up above those numbers. Now, of course, that we could always get rejected here and then move back down. As long as we don't put in a lower low, as long as we don't go to 52.5 again, I think this is still a bullish pattern. But we'll have to see how it works out. We do have a couple big economic events. We have some Fed governors speaking this week, but this is really what people will be looking at. Minutes of Fed September FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Then we have PPI and CPI later in the week. It seems like the Fed's more focused on jobs numbers than inflation, but obviously if we have good inflation numbers, that continues their ability to lower rates and continue to get the job market in a stronger place. After some of the reports last week, it looks like there's less of a chance that we're going to see lower cuts or lower rates. Last week, we actually had a 35% probability of a 50 basis point cut, and now we have zero probability of that, and we actually have an 18% probability of no cut at the next meeting. Now, honestly, if the economy is doing okay, I don't think it's the biggest deal that we take a meeting off. I would obviously like to see cuts each meeting for a couple different reasons. I think it just increases liquidity. It helps the jobs market. But maybe the Fed wants to hold on to some of that firepower for a later date. But right now, it still looks like there's a very high probability that they are going to cut just by 25 basis points at the next meeting. So I think that'll help crypto. I think that'll help stocks. I think that'll help the job market as well. And it will help homeowners too, people that are going to buy homes. As rates come down, it's easier and easier to get your hands on a property. We have the Tesla Robotaxi event on October 10th. So I don't talk about stocks too often, but I actually do hold a significant amount of Tesla. I think of it as kind of a call option. I think they're one of the most innovative companies out there. And they have this Robotaxi robot event in just a few days. It's actually Thursday, and there's been a lot of hype about this. Tesla stock has done really well, actually. You can see $250 over the last 6 months. It's up 45%. Year to date, not up too much. 1 year actually down a little bit. It's so volatile that just depending on when you look at it, it could be up. It could still be up 50%, 100%, or it could be down 50%. You can see here from the very bottom, it went down to about 105, which I can't even get on this screen, but it's up about 125% since then, or 150%. So yeah, up significantly from the bottom recently, but super volatile. It'll be interesting to see what they have in this event. I'm guessing they're going to show a robo-taxi. I'm guessing they'll give some numbers. give maybe the cost. I think that'd be awesome. And then show their robot off as well. Maybe some FSD. We'll see. So you can see here as well, Bitcoin has performed really well year to date. People are annoyed because it's been sideways and choppy, but the fact is it's the best performing asset in 2024. It's up 49% compared to, let's see, utilities, 31%, silver, 31%, large cap, equities growth, 28%, gold, 26%, and so on down the line, all the way down to the US dollar, which is up 0.8%, maybe the DXY or something. But yeah, it's performed so well. You have to broaden your view. You have to look over a longer time span. Then you realize, well, this is still a very good year, even though it's not the explosive year so far that some people were expecting. It has put itself right below the all-time high. Some people are continuously stacking as well. MetaPlanet purchased an additional 109 Bitcoin, just about 109. This is after, I think it was last week, they announced that they were placing some options so that way they could actually collect a premium and then buy more Bitcoin with it as well. They're stacking a lot. This 109 Bitcoin is actually about 18, 19%, something like that, of their overall Bitcoin holdings. So they have accumulated quickly. I think before year end, they'll be right around 1,000 Bitcoin, which I realize isn't really moving the price needle. But companies like this that continue to buy Bitcoin, that can hold it for a long time, will do quite well, right? They'll do quite well. The company will do well. They'll hopefully be able to buy more Bitcoin over time. And enough companies do this, and it will really affect the price. I think the key is making it through the first bit of volatility. Kind of like when you buy a rental property, or if you leverage Bitcoin, right? If you can handle the initial chop before the next move up, then you're going to do fine. And then you're going to make out really well if it moves up. Kind of like a rental property, I said. If you can handle the first couple of years when things come up that you weren't expecting, when you're making, the cash flow that you were expecting, but you haven't been able to raise rents much, and the mortgage is going to take more of your available cash. If you can make it through that, if you have a nice cash reserve for anything that comes up, then you're going to do quite well over time because you can raise rents and then you're going to cash flow a lot better. So the risk is at the beginning when you are buying Bitcoin or when a company is buying Bitcoin. It's really not risk as long as it's money that you don't need anytime soon, as long as you can handle the volatility and handle maybe being underwater a little bit, depending on how you get the funding for your Bitcoin. You're going to be fine because it's probably going to outperform over time. Like if you had, let's say, you're a company and you make, you make $1 million. No, what was MicroStrategy? I think they were making 50 million a year, 75 million a year, and they had 500 million in cash. So let's say you have a smaller company and you're making 100 grand a year in profit. You have $1 million sitting there on your balance sheet. If you had bought Bitcoin 9 months ago at the beginning of the year, you would be up very, very significantly. Your $1 million would be 1.5 now, which would be 5 years of profit, right? So if you can zoom out, you can do quite well in Bitcoin. But let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, if you want to trade, there's a link underneath the video. I'll see you all in the next one.